I think we have probably the largest population of youths in the world. It's a resource and a curse. It's a resource if we manage it properly, we use it properly, if we encourage it, we develop it, if we make them productive, if we make them have hope in Nigeria of the future. That's the challenge. And if we don't, it becomes a curse. If you look at what our young people have done today with the little we have given them, they've done best in sports and the creative industry. Unfortunately, many of them have to go abroad to find the recognition they deserve.
We have deregulated the oil sector, and every other thing that would unshackle the economy, we have deregulated. Now the sports sector, Nigeria has to pay attention to is our government by way of policy need to deregulate it. We need to open it up so that people who understand P&L, who understand balance sheets, who can create value, can go into that space ecosystem, take these things, because these are big properties, and manage them the way they are. Because these things can employ thousands of people, create opportunities, and the impact on our social life and then economy is so large.
Hello out there, as Dr. Ken would say, governance is not complicated. Someone makes a decision, someone else lives with that decision. This is policy without politics. My name is Mustafa Chike Obi, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Ken Onyali Ikpe.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. Yes. My name is Dr. Ken. Like he said, I'm today going to be discussing a topic that is close to everybody's heart. We are going to be discussing a topic that resonates with all of us, and I'm very sure it's an episode you will enjoy without boundaries.
So, Dr. Ken, as you must know, one of our greatest resources is our young people.
Yes.
I think we have probably the largest population of youths in the world. It's a resource and a curse. It's a resource if we manage it properly, if we use it properly, if we encourage it, if we develop it, if we make them productive. If we make them have hope in Nigeria of the future. That's the challenge. And if we don't, it becomes a curse. So we're going to talk today about sports and the creative economy of Nigeria, because sports, that's what employs the most youths. That's where the youth drive it. We old men can drive finance and insurance and communications. But in sports and creative industry, this is a youth heaven.
Youth-centric.
If we make it a youth heaven. So we're going to discuss that and whether we have a policy, what the policy is, and what we think the policies should be that will encourage the youth to develop our sports and creative industry. So please, I know this is something that you're passionate about. And I think that we'll gain a lot from listening to you talk about that.
Yes, because it's such an important topic to discuss. Like they say, I think it's even there in the Bible that a man's heart is where his treasure is, isn't it? So if you are the preponderance of your population, over 50% is youthful. So the question is, how have you articulated this in terms of opportunities and in terms of challenge? How important really is it to you? If it's important, where does it sit on your policy table? At the moment, yes, Nigeria has a lot of policy around youth development, has a lot of policy around sports, a lot of policy around the creative economy. But what priority does it take in the scheme of things? And a lot has to do with signaling in terms of prioritizing things, the signal, the body language. If you are going to be appointing individuals and you are going to be appointing people to administer agencies, administer institutions that manage this segment of population, are you really taking the very best of us, considering the importance of what it is? Don't forget that I said that where your treasure is, that's where your heart is. So the caliber of people we have left with this task does not send the right signal. It doesn't send the right narrative that to say that this segment is important to us, because it has direct implication for the economy, it has direct implication for security, it has direct implication to even our national diplomatic engagements, because you're as good as you are perceived. You'll be surprised that if you land at the Heathrow or JFK and you say, listen, I'm a cousin to JJ Okocha, the conversation changes. Or you say you're cousin to Lawal, for example, Babangida, who played for Nigeria. The conversation changes. Now you talk of a Kano Wako, So it's something we need to take seriously, expand on the importance of it, and then begin to put our hands where our mouth is. This is such an important subject of conversation, and it's so important to Nigeria if we are to consider the low-hanging fruits.
Yeah, now there's a couple of things. If you look at what our young people have done today, with the little we have given them, they've done best in sports and the creative industry. And unfortunately, many of them have to go abroad to find the recognition they deserve. Amusha, in track and field.
Track and field, yes.
You mentioned J.J. Okocha. The man with the two names.
Yes. It's so good they named him twice.
It is so heartwarming to me. When you Google the best footballers in the world, his name comes up.
Pops up,
That's just amazing. That's probably one of the few places where you can say the best anything in the world and the Nigerian pops up. I'm sure there are others, but this one I know because I Googled it. Also, when we look at, I just heard that Genevieve Nnaji has been, what's the word now? She's now in a BBC series, in Ghetto BBC series. She's going to be one of. So our young people have done tremendous service.
In music, for example.
In music.
The Burna Boys of this one, the Davidos.
Listen, I go to places that you've not heard about in New Jersey. And I won't talk about it here because this is
it's below the line.
It's below the line conversation. And you hear Afrobeats. And you're like, as a Nigerian, you jump at it because it's amazing. So what I want to ask you is, what do you think we can do to develop? This is, I'd rather develop my music industry and my movie industry and my sports than do a COVID vaccine, like I said earlier before. Because here we have some advantage. We have talent. And we have young people who are motivated. What can we do as government? Because Korea, it amazes me what South Korea has done with their music and their, I was going to put an adjective, but I won't. And their soap operas. They are the entertainment industry in Korea now is the second earning industry in Korea behind manufacturing. And this was a government directed policy that they did for 10 years. And the results are now amazing. So what can we do you think? How can we be like a South Korea? What can we learn from the South Korean example? How can government be supportive of our young people besides holding them down, taxing them to oblivion, and harassing them with, what do they call them? What's those police people called? The rapid response people?
They look on their, search their laptops. And
how can we change orientation of us older people to realize that our youth are our greatest asset and the best avenues is one we have chosen, sports and the creative industry?
It starts with the mindset. We have to first understand how big these properties are. And the properties I'm talking about are the properties around music, properties around sports. And even when you break sports down, take football, for example, it's such a big industry. It's incredible. In fact, if you harness our football properly, it can generate 3 times more revenue than our oil is generating with less investment. Because the raw materials are here. Is it not a predicament? And something that's incredible that you have the raw materials that can make a block, which is cement and water, but you can't make a block. It's incredible. And it starts with mindset, like I said. And beyond mindset, the kind of body language, the kind of how we communicate and how we relate with these resources matter a lot. When we are going to make appointments, for example, we finish appointments on ministries that we think are grade A ministries. And you forget that the Ministry of Youth and Sport is a grade A ministry because the potentials therein surpasses in terms of potential, the potentials you have in any other sector in Nigeria, even your oil.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What's the budget for youth ministry compared to the budget of, say, works and housing?
It's something that during the course of our conversation, the producer will have to throw up, because we didn't quite come with the exactitudes in terms of numbers. But I'm sure they are going to throw that up.
From the way you're talking,
yes,
the youth and sports may be just as important.
Yes, it's more important as far as I'm concerned.
Because unemployed youth are the raw material for insecurity.
It is.
Whether it's banditry or crime, mostly crime. All this Yahoo thing came about from educated, unemployed, underutilized youth.
Yes.
And so they channeled that knowledge into something that we don't like.
Yes.
Or if we can force them, or we can encourage them to go into something more progressive, like creative industries. So what would you suggest?
Before I suggest, let me give you some examples. I had put some examples down. What look like, what is on ground. If you take, for example, let's say a sound engineer in Sule.
Yes.
He earns a living because Afrobeat is booming.
Yes.
His income is informal, as it is, unprotected and dependent on relationship, rather than contracts. The creative economy employs millions of these people. Yes. So why don't you look at the creative economy? So
you're asking me, I'm not against
I'm just asking because you are close to government. No. So what you can see, you ask the question, what does that employment, that kind of employment I have painted, create for people like that who isn't a Burna Boy? So our attention is one big Burna Boy or one Davido, but there are thousands of people who benefit from what Burna Boy does just by streaming it or putting it together in far away Alimosho or in Enugu or somewhere where West Imo State local government. If you take a young footballer from Kano, for example, his dream is not to play for Kano Pillars most times. His dream is to attract a scout. Most times from an European academy. And what do? They help build a domestic league and, in fact, bypass a domestic league. And what does that say to a Nigerian who does not put value to this? So most times they know that if they live by the domestic dream, that dream dies. But if they find mechanisms that can bypass the domestic platforms, then the dream thrives. So we must pay attention to this. It's a big deal, MCO, and it is something that baffles me that we have not paid attention.
But I must betray you, because you and I discussed starting a football team.
Yes.
And I said I was interested. I said, why don't we start a football team? Because you love football.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yes. So, yes. The football is not a matter of life and death.
Oh, it's a matter
but
of
it's more important than that.
Okay. All right. Okay, it's more important than that.
Yes.
Okay. So we talked about it. And you said no, that the NFF will frustrate you.
Yes.
So I didn't take you seriously, of course. Because you're given to hyperbole from time to time, like I am. So I talked to my friend Hassan Tuko, who is also a huge football fan.
Yes.
Unfortunately for me, he's also an Arsenal fan, like you.
Yes. Most Arsenal fans belong to that category. They understand P&L.
And he said the same thing you said.
Yes.
I'm like, he said, no, NFF, you can't do it. So that's a case where they may be true or not true. But the impression that investors like me who want to invest in the Nigerian Football League have is that NFF is a stumbling block.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or perception, that's a block that must be removed.
Yes.
And so let me tell you a suggestion I made earlier, and then tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
As you must know, sports and entertainment in the world are driven by the advertising industry. Entertainment a bit less so now but even the streaming platforms have a lot of advertisement. Nigerian advertising to GDP is extremely low.
Yeah.
So I made a suggestion. It may be naive and may need to be refined.
Yeah. You're correct. It's lower than that of Kenya, far lower than that of South Africa, for example. And that is just Africa. So imagine if you extrapolate that to Europe or Americas.
So I made a suggestion. And again, it's naive, so you are the expert and you can correct me. I said every company in Nigeria that has a revenue of over, pick a number, 10 billion,
let's say 10 billion.
10 billion naira should be compelled by government to advertise, again, let's pick a number, 5% of that revenue to as advertising expense.
Yeah.
The company picks who they want to advertise, where they want to advertise, how they want to advertise. Maybe they want to sponsor a football team. Maybe they want to sponsor a stadium. Maybe they want to sponsor a movie. Maybe they want to sponsor, but advertise 5% minimum of your revenues. Because once you have advertising revenues, you will then now have the money to support content. And football is content in the US. Okay?
Yeah.
Movies are content.
Yeah.
TV shows are content.
Yeah.
That way, I think, when I did the calculation, if that were the case, you will improve advertising revenues by over 10 times.
Yeah.
And that will drive everything we need in the entertainment and sports industries. You will now have, say, GT Bank looking at all their revenues, having to spend money, and maybe they want to support a team, a football team, anywhere. Maybe they want to support a movie. Maybe they want to support a TV series sponsored by GT. But they make the decision, not government. But the amount is there, and it's a tax-deductible expense. What do you think of that idea?
Brilliant idea. But we first must deregulate what we have to deregulate. We have deregulated the oil sector.
Yes.
We have kind of deregulated our forex regime. And every other thing that would unshackle the economy, we have deregulated.
Yeah.
Now, the sports sector, Nigeria has to pay attention to is a government by way of policy need to deregulate it. What do I mean by deregulate? Whatever you call sports administrations as institutions in Nigeria, whether it's NFF at the federal level or FF or federations at the state level, these are shackles. We need to deregulate it so that people who are competent, people who are value drivers can go in there and manage them as businesses. Do you know that for you to go to the federal level, which is NFF, you have to first come from your local government, come from your state before you qualify to go to the state, to the federal to compete as a principal officer of the NFF. It doesn't make sense, so it's an area government have not paid attention to. That sector need to be deregulated. We need to open it up so that people who understand P&L, profit and loss, who understand balance sheets, who can create value, can go into that space, ecosystem, take these things, because these are big properties, and manage them the way they are. Because these things can employ thousands of people, great opportunities, and the impact on our social life and then economy is so large. So it's a wonderful proposition you've made there, and I think it's something government need to pick up as soon as possible, because the advertising is the oxygen of sports.
And entertainment.
And entertainment.
Yes.
The bigger the advertising spend, the more it impacts on those platforms, the more it energizes it, and the more it drags people out of poverty.
And it creates talent.
That's its play. So advertising is so key. And the thing with why I'm restraining myself so that it doesn't become a conversational advertising, but it's so important. And then if you elevate the conversation, it comes into branding, and branding is life. What you don't brand, you can't sell, because you're as good as you are perceived. You have to build that product, give it some architecture, put it in the marketplace, elicit demand, and it gives more than just satisfying but the emotional benefit that comes from it. Why you support what you support in sports, or what you follow and consume in the creative industry, is because of the emotional benefit that comes with it. So we must invest in it.
Then you see teams again, I'll go back to soccer, which you love.
Yes.
You see teams fighting for survival in the Premiership League.
Yes.
Because they know that the advertising revenues, the television revenues are so dramatic between the Premier League
and the Championship.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a matter of life and death.
What motivates excellence in sports and in movies? You go to a movie theater in the US.
Yeah.
Before they show you the movie, they show you a series of advertisements.
Yes.
What drives excellence is resources. But let me say again, you're talking about unshackling the bureaucratic chains that are chaining some of our industry.
Yeah.
If GT, I say GT because I love GT.
You keep mentioning GT. I wonder whether you have a lot of shares.
I don't want to say I don't have no shares. I don't want to mention Fidelity, because obviously maybe it was my obvious bias and love for Fidelity. So I want to appear objective.
Okay, yeah.
So I mentioned GT.
But there are many other banks.
First Bank. The First Bank is spending $1 billion on a football team. They will make those chains disappear.
No, it's a chicken and egg thing. First Bank or GT or any other bank or big institutions would not allocate that money to a cesspit hole.
Yes.
Because when you allocate it and you know you need another set of budget to manage the crisis that will come from it, you better stay away from it.
No, but
Because it's a corrugated iron sheet. Until you clean it up and get competent people who would manage, then you can attract the kind of sponsorship and advertising budget.
okay, let us agree that they go side by side.
Yes.
But one slightly before the other.
Yeah.
But we're talking policy without politics.
Yeah.
And we're saying we're encouraging
Yes.
companies
As a matter of policy. Yes. Yeah.
to look into how we can fund those areas
Yes.
where we have an advantage.
Yes. Yes.
We have an advantage. We can compete with anybody in sports.
Yes.
Anybody. Anybody in sports. We can compete in creative industry.
Yeah.
And by the way, the reason why the music industry in Nigeria, Afrobeat, seems to have outpaced the movie industry is because of distribution. It's easier to listen to a song online than to watch a movie online.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
Yeah.
And so the revenues are easier.
Yeah.
But if we can put enough capital
Yeah.
into those areas, I think the benefits will be to our young people, to our GDP, to our economy, to our national pride. Because I think those areas are unfunded and that many, many, many Nigerians are working with their arms tied behind their backs. And if we can do this and raise a lot of money through advertising to support those industries, I think we're going to go a long way to help our youth.
Yes. So again, let me emphasize, because for you to do that, when you go through this policy will throw up billions. Now, these billions will be resources to be managed. Again,
by the banks, by the companies.
Whatever we tax,
by the telecoms.
Whatever,
it's not a tax.
No. Whatever we get out of by way of policy that will compel these organizations to contribute is going to be via a policy, which is going to be a good policy.
Yes.
But my point is that the rigor it takes a multinational or a bank to select a CEO.
Yes.
For example, they comb both the character side, they comb the competence side. It's a balance sheet. And at the end of it,
not always.
Well, you have to get a very competent person to manage an institution.
Sometimes it's a family thing, but let's not.
No. But even within the family, the person first and foremost will have the basic requirements.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm very sure.
I know many companies that don't do that.
So how well are they doing?
Well,
so that is it. So if you want your company to do well, then you must get competent people to manage it.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. If sports must do well or the creative industry must get competent people, the same set of skills. You cannot lower the bar for this sector and expect the same result for other sectors. It's only when you get that in place that these guys will have the confidence to release the kind of funds you are talking about, because they know that people who can manage it are ready to go and they are capable of delivering and creating value on a consistent basis.
I think we're back to what we discussed earlier, which is that we must send ministers with their portfolios.
Yes.
And the Senate must then grill them.
Yes.
What makes you think you can be a Minister of Youth and Sport?
Yes.
What have you done?
Yeah.
You are the party leader in Anambra State.
Yes.
Anambra South. Onitsha South.
Yes. So Adamawa
South. Is that why you want to be? We need to get to that. So yes, I agree with you.
Yes.
Ultimately, one of the things I said in government was that incompetence is always more costly than corruption.
Yes.
And in fact, competent people tend not to be corrupt.
Yes.
They don't want to be corrupt because they know
they have something to lose.
They can get that money somewhere else.
That's the creativity I'm talking about.
Yes.
You must be able to create value.
Yes. So when you put somebody who knows he doesn't belong there, his instinct is
to scavenge.
Let me just scavenge quickly because any day they'll find me out. The competent people tend to be less corrupt.
Yes.
And I don't know why we don't spend more effort putting competent people in the correct positions.
Yes.
And instead, we confuse loyalty with competence.
And one of those most important areas, it should be the Ministry of Youth and Sport. It's as important as petroleum.
So let's tell. Well,
it's important as any great ministry as designated by us.
By the way, you're correct.
Yes.
And therefore it should be funded properly.
Yes. And put the most competent people to manage it.
But if it's funded properly, they will all go there.
It doesn't matter. What is important is that across board we have only competent people managing all aspects of our national life.
We are totally in agreement.
Yes.
So what we're saying out there is we value our youths. we believe our youths are being handicapped by policies or absence of policies, including funding for what we think is one of the most critical ministries, youth and sports.
Yes.
Let's please take a second look at those industries. If the funding is scarce, instead of taxing companies, let companies be encouraged by policy to invest a certain amount of money, company of a certain size, to advertise their products at their discretion. We're not asking you to advertise this, just advertise wherever you want. Support who you want to support to. But that will give you richer, more employed young people who will then be your customers. So I agree with you. I think that we should focus. I think we should now call it Ministry of Youth, Sports and Gold. The golden ministry.
That's why they added productivity. But we didn't mean it.
Oh, we didn't mean it.
Yes.
And we can.
Now we should mean it.
And we should support it with policies.
Yes. Do you want me to give you my pet peeve?
Oh yes, you do the pet peeve, because I see you are very passionate about this.
Yes, But my pet peeve for this week would be, if you are talented, or you've been talented, you've played for Nigeria before, you've done athletics for Nigeria before, we appreciate all that. You are a very talented person. But you don't necessarily have to be the manager of the sport that you played in. There are different channels where you can continue to be useful. You can do your grade A badges, grade B badges, and become a coach if you're a football talent of old. Or you can transmit to become a great analyst. You can see it in the EPL. All former ex-footballers of the EPL, they come on the sets and they do
English Premier League.
English Premier League. You can see they transform and become great analysts. So that is an industry of its own. But if you have played the game, doesn't mean that you have the competencies to manage the game. That is a different ballgame together. It's management. It is resource creation. It's resource management. It is P&Ls. It's a different ballgame. If you cannot manage a bank, you cannot manage a multinational, then you can't manage a football, because it's a bigger property than even you take.
Okay.
It's a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
See you next episode.
Fantastic. See you guys.